About it yesterday, but the Roughriders haven't won. You can only talk about this year, obviously, but they haven't won in Winnipeg since 2018. Obviously, Winnipeg's been a good team, but can you just touch more on that environment you guys are entering on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be crazy. Their fan base, I think, is the only one that tries to rival ours. And when you date back to 2018, this team they've been a pretty good. That was kind of the start of their run anyway. So I don't know. There's a lot of teams maybe have had a tough time in that building, but the atmosphere, playoff atmosphere. I assume there's going to be a lot of people there, and it's tough for teams to go in there and operate on time. But those are things that you have to try to mimic and master before you get there. That hopefully things move as smooth as they can on game day.
2018 was obviously a good year for you, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And you guys beat Trevor in the Grey Cup that year. Do you sort of think about and recall moments, years like that as you get prepared for big games like this?
Maybe just certain situations that you can pull, as it relates to to the team in real time. Every team's different, different circumstances, different situations that you're in, but there's some carryover from year to year, just, expectations or understanding, for example, what this atmosphere could be like, how the schedules look, different things like that you can pull from different years, but everything's so different, man. I'd hate to just blanket all those experiences as the same. So this one is definitely different than any other team I've been a part of, and very proud of that. So we'll see. Hopefully we can pull from this year.
Sorry, you say Brit or Britain? Brit. Sorry. Okay. Just wondering how you guys can use that obsession for possession turnover ratio to your advantage this weekend.
Yeah, it has to be week to week. It's just like going into last week. Anything that we had done prior to that, mean nothing. Same thing. What we did last week doesn't mean anything. That is not going to help us, this week. So we've got to go out there and prove it. And it's just the same. We just got to take care of the football and go get it. But that's part of who we are, and we hope that continues.
Do you feel like it might be a little bit of a battle in the run game between AJ and Brady, kind of going head to head?
No doubt. I mean, this is that's been part of their recipe, and Brady's had a heck of a year. Again, I'll always give flowers to those who deserve it. Brady deserves it. The offensive line deserves it. Costello, their coach, deserves that. They do such a great job. But, on the flip side, from us, love what Ed does, love what our O-line does, love what AJ and Q have done. So, yeah, it's got the makeup to potentially be one of those old school, frozen tundra, even though it's supposed to be kind of nice. But, that's the makeup in two physical teams.
Corey, how do you balance that? You want to treat it like every other game, don't want to put too much on it, but these opportunities don't come around all that often in pro sports.
Yeah, it's I don't think anybody is hiding from what it is. But at the end of the day, the ball is going to be whistled in, it's going to be kicked off, and you got to go execute your job. That does not change. The intensity might be a little different. The crowd might be different, but it does come down to getting your job executed and trying to win 1-0, right? So we don't want to stray too far from that, but we know what's at stake. You just got to make sure to find that balance as a player when you're out there, and as coaches, just to managing those personalities that you can't get too high, can't get too low. You just got to stay focused.
Well, it's like I said, it's a football game once it all starts. But what have you seen from this team in this locker room that maybe you've seen from previous Grey Cup teams you've been a part of that this team can get through?
Just how they've banded together through everything. Very crucial. That's a personal opinion. Every game is going to show some kind of adversity. And then you look at the team and what we've gone through in totality and how we've responded. Individual players who've gone through adversity and how they've responded. They lean on each other through everything. So that is something that, I can correlate and kind of blanket from some other teams in the past is we certainly have that bond together here.
Dave?
Coach, how big of a thing is momentum, whether it be play to play, quarter to quarter, game to game, week to week? How big is it?
Huge. Momentum swings in games specifically, that could give you a little juice. It could take some out, but ultimately, again, same thing. You can feel momentum, but you got to capitalize on it. And if it's not in your favor, you got to do something to flip it pretty quick. So it does parlay, I think, in playoffs. You've seen it time and time again. A team has an excellent playoff game, and then the next week, it's like, dang, that kind of didn't look like the same team. So momentum in the playoffs from game to game, I don't know that really plays into much favor, to be honest with you. You got to just show up and prove it, each game, each series, each play that you're in.
If you go back to that Labor Day rematch, Winnipeg was able to grab momentum early with that punt block and then the interception. As a coach or a player or both, if momentum isn't in your favor, how do you get it back into your favor?
Yeah, I mean, situationally too, those things happen early in the game, and you just got to remind everybody, hey, a lot of football left, tons of things that you can swing in your favor from that standpoint. But, really I think what it comes back to is exactly, some of the things that we identify as kind of our building blocks here. And I think what this team has, like I spoke to, is just, that the belief in brotherhood. You lean on that in adverse situations, and you have the confidence to know that you can get out of it because you've proven it. You've proven it over and over again that you can. Then it's going to come down to doing your job and making the dang plays, right? So for us, it's just be who we are.
Adam?
Coach, Zach's 5-0 in Winnipeg in the playoffs. How important is it to be to get pressure on him and get him off his spot?
Yeah, I think anytime, for Zach, again, flowers, right? He's earned that right. You definitely you got to get after the guy and try to force him into some bad throws. I think our D-line has done a fairly decent job, trying to get him off the spot, make him feel uncomfortable. You also have access to the blitz game and things like that to get him going. But, it's not just that, from the back end as well, trying to, make it tough on him for his reads. And, but there's not a ton, similar to our quarterback. He's played a lot of football. So, and he is who he is and their team is who they are because of, I think, a larger part of their veteran experience. So, yeah, tall task, man. But we got to be on it to go in there and then come out with a win.
How important is it going to be to try and make a couple plays early to try and take that crowd out of it and reduce the noise?
Yeah, that's ideal. You'd love to. You'd like to do that every game. But, you want to make the plays that, that when it's your opportunity to make them, you don't want to overstress too much because it might leave something else, that won't turn for you if you're trying to do too much. So just patience, trust in your ability. Sometimes guys feel like they got to do too much, which really is somebody else's job. Have faith in the people next to you as well to get the job done. So hopefully, it's early, but, we'll take them when we can get them.
Got one more for you. Miles Brown said they welcome, as a defensive line, they welcome the run and they want Brady to run the ball. Would that be your approach as well? You want, based on how good your defense has been, you want Winnipeg to run the ball? Like that matchup?
We take pride in trying to defend the run, no doubt. Certainly, he's the best right in the last couple of years to do it, and it's a challenge. But I just know the guys like challenges here. So if that's going to be their game plan, I know I I want to say we want them to do it, but if they do, I don't think our guys are going to shy away from that. I know they're geared up for that. So, yeah, we expect Brady's going to touch the ball maybe once or twice.
Well, Britt mentioned the obsession for possession. The team's very adept at forcing turnovers. How important is it, though, to do something with the ball once the turnover is obtained? Like last week, the second down conversion was 62%. Time of possession was almost 35 minutes. So does that not just build upon the turnover once it's in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, you get the turnover and you score right there, But if you can't, we get the ball back to our offense, who we trust to go and create something out of that. Offensively for us, we're just, you want to walk away with points, and if nothing else, we flip the field. The field position is very important. But we can steal a possession, so to speak, and give it back to our offense. We got full trust and faith in what they're able to do. So, whether we can't score it on defense when you get the turnover, obviously you hope the goal is that the offense can do something with it there. You steal a possession.
I'll try to make this question not as convoluted as the previous one. What are your thoughts on what Demarcus Fields has brought you this season?
Yeah, Flowers. He's been awesome. As a rookie coming into a new league, and being thrusted into a starting role right out of training camp, there's a lot to digest specifically at that position in our defense. He's been awesome. He's starting to command himself back there. He holds the standard for everybody else around him as well, for himself. He's excellent tackling. He's excellent block destruction. Truthfully, he probably should have another couple turnovers, something that keeps bugging me about challenging some of these things, but he's been excellent, man. He's another great human, so another guy we're happy to have.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.